not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 new polls have come out just this week, all showing the exact same thing. And that is that not only is Donald Trump's approval rating continue to fall, but also a plurality of voters in every single one of these polls no longer trust Donald Trump to handle the economy. Now, some of these polls, the numbers did hit 50, 52% at most in terms of do you trust Donald Trump to handle the economy? And for the others, it did not hit 50%, but there was still a plurality. More people said they do not trust him to handle the economy than people who said, I do trust him. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, obviously, based on what we have seen for these last 2 months, what we saw in his previous 4 years, you shouldn't trust Donald Trump to handle the economy. He led us into a recession the first time. We were going to be in a recession even without COVID. So he's bad at this. He comes into office in 2 months, takes the economy that was doing so much better, chugging along and getting better by the month from President Biden, and he's destroyed it in under 2 months. The number of people who trust Trump to handle the economy should be 0. Like, that should be 0%. The fact that there's anybody out there that still thinks, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, it makes me lose faith in humanity. Like, nobody should look at what's happening and be like, yes, this is what we need to do. No. This is a very stupid man who does not understand economics. He clearly doesn't even understand business, right? Let's be honest. He doesn't understand any of this. He's wiped out billions of dollars from his own net worth because of his economic moves. That's how bad he is. But the real kicker are the numbers of people that now say that the country is on the wrong track, headed in the wrong direction. A plurality, difficult word to say quickly, in all of these polls say that the country is on the wrong track. We're headed in the wrong direction under Donald Trump. And what's interesting is both of those issues in all of these polls were also conducted right as Donald Trump was sworn in, some right before he was sworn in. And at the time, a majority, not a plurality, a majority of respondents in those polls 2 months ago said, yes, I trust Trump to handle the economy. Yes, we are headed in the right direction. So in less than 2 months, everything flipped. Everything. His approval rating went underwater. That only took 40 days. Trust in his handling of the economy is now negative. Are we headed in the right direction is now negative. All of that in less than 2 months, folks. The American public now sees this is not the guy for the job. This is not the guy we should have put our faith in, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. We voted for him anyway, and we're stuck. And that's the worst part of all of this. We are stuck. But maybe you're one of those people, and I'm not going to hold it against you if you are, because to a degree I am, that says, Farron, you can't trust polls, right? The run up to the 2024 election, every poll was wrong, right? Well, that is true. So if you don't want to trust these polls, and again, I don't hold it against you if you don't, what do the business leaders say, right? What are the CEOs saying? The people who fund the Republican Party, the people who basically gave us the leadership we have today. Are they celebrating or are they crapping their pants? Well, they're not celebrating. In fact, there was a meeting this week. It was a Yale CEO caucus, because that apparently needs to be a thing. It was held earlier this week. You had CEOs like JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon, Pfizer's Albert Bola, Dell's Michael Dell. And when they got on the subject of Trump at this little CEO caucus, there was a mix of groans and shocked laughter after Trump had announced his steel and aluminum tariffs. And then Bill George, former CEO of Medtronic, said this. He was struck by how fearful people are and how unwilling they are to speak out. Executives don't want to get on the wrong side of the president and his constituents. The mood is totally changed, he says. What you're hearing publicly is not what you're going to hear privately. And that, of course, was reported by the Wall Street Journal, and several other basically companion pieces saying the same thing were written in Fortune. There was one written in Bloomberg. So across the board, the business papers are all telling us that CEOs are effectively crapping their pants behind the scenes, right? Terrified of what Trump is doing, understanding he's wrecking the economy, but all being too cowardly to actually speak out and say something. So they're just going to let it happen, right? The voters at this moment are powerless to do anything, right? We can't stop him. And I hate to say it, but thanks to Citizens United, the few people who could do something that could flex a little muscle that might sway this administration, or at least the House and Senate, that is these CEOs. They could do something. They can pick up the phone because they got these folks on speed dial and say, listen, you're not going to get another dime from me if you don't put an end to this right now. If you don't find your spine, say goodbye to my money. See ya, click. That's it. They could do that, but they're not. Instead, they're going to keep suffering the losses, just like we're going to have to keep suffering paying higher prices, because they won't do anything and the voters can't do anything. You know, we can take to the streets, we can protest, we hate tariffs. That's not going to change Trump's mind. That's not going to change the minds of the Republicans in Congress. Not to downplay the impact that, protests can have. This isn't one of those issues. This isn't one of those times. But these big money people from this Yale CEO caucus, they could absolutely start making phone calls, start withholding money, put some financial pressure on these people in DC to make them stop this. Again, hate to be this way, but they are the ones with the power right now. And the ones with the power are running and hiding because they're scared about what? Retribution from Donald Trump? What's he going to do? He's going to send out a mean post on Truth Social. He's going to revoke a security clearance that we don't have. He's going to investigate us for DEI. Fucking let him, right? Who gives a crap? But it is what it is. These people are spineless. They just want to buy their politicians and move on. And in doing so, they're dooming the rest of us. Y'all actually have a chance to reverse 20 years of negative public image right now by emerging as the heroes, right? Doesn't that sound good? Go from being the villains for several decades to maybe being the folks that save the day? That doesn't sound good to any of you guys at all? No? Nothing? Go back and hide in your offices on Wall Street. You guys can weather the storm individually. You've got your golden parachutes. You've got your tens of millions of dollars in bonuses every year. You'll be just fine. That's why you don't care. That's why you don't speak out. It's not because you're afraid of Trump. It's because you can weather the storm, but you know that we cannot. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.